Now, as many of you know, Devo Thoughts stands for Devotional Thoughts. And think on these things, the thing I say at the end of each video, comes from Philippians 4, verse 8. And funnily enough, I was going through my bookshelf and actually found this devotional guide that is called Think on These Things. So I thought it'd only be appropriate for us to kind of go through this devotional guide together. It's a daily devotional, one for every day of the year. So it'll be a great way for us to be consistent and be held accountable for spending some time in God's Word every day. So join me on this journey as we think on these things. A great door and effectual is opened unto me, and there are many adversaries. 1 Corinthians 16, verse 9. This statement in this verse occurs toward the end of Paul's first letter to the church at Corinth. He's writing from Ephesus near the close of his long ministry in that city. And he had been successful in Ephesus, but this very success had made him bitter enemies. Acts 19 tells of one of the adversaries who confronted Paul at Ephesus. The apostles' teaching against idol worship had hurt the business of silversmiths. A representative of their guild, Demetrius by name, stirred up a riot so violent that the whole city was filled with confusion. And this incident was apparently only a sample of the problems Paul met in Ephesus. For recalling those days, he said, "For we would not, brethren, have you ignorant of our trouble which came to us in Asia, that we were pressed out of measure, above strength, insomuch that we despaired even of life." But despite the problems, Paul did not lose sight of the opportunities. A great opportunity has opened for effective work, he says, and there is much opposition. How appropriate for the beginning of a new year. The future holds great opportunities. Advances in communication and transportation have shrunk the globe until messages encircle it in moments and people can in hours. Diseases that once terrorized whole populations have been conquered. Knowledge has increased in almost every field. Rewarding careers are now beckoning millions of youth. But, as Paul said, there are many adversaries. War, famine, hate, fear have not been overcome. Cities are increasingly restless and dangerous. God is forgotten in the quest for material things. The apostle might have fearfully said, "But there are many adversaries." Instead, he exclaimed, "And there are many adversaries." We may look upon the new year as a threat, or like Paul, we may consider it a challenge. Which shall it be? Whether this year is a happy and successful year depends to a great extent on our attitude toward the crises that lurk around the corners among these weeks and months ahead. And as always, think on these things.